You won't believe the day my wife got locked out of her own bathroom, not by accident, not by a broken lock, but by our HOA president, Karen. Yeah, the same Karen who already thought she ran our neighborhood like a kingdom. But this time, she crossed a line so ridiculous that even I couldn't stay calm. It started on a Saturday morning. My wife, Emily, had just come back from her jog and went straight to the master bathroom to shower. But when she tried to open the door, it was locked from the inside. She called out, thinking maybe I was playing a joke. But I wasn't. We listened, and then we both heard it. Karen's voice, loud, smug, and echoing inside our bathroom. She was on the phone. Yes, I told the board we can't let them get away with those new tiles. The color isn't approved, and I'm standing right here in their house. Emily's jaw dropped. Karen had used her so-called HOA master key to let herself into our home, marched into our bathroom, and was conducting HOA business while blocking my wife from her own shower. Emily banged on the door. Karen, what do you think you're doing? Get out of my bathroom! Karen didn't even flinch. She just raised her voice, continuing her call like Emily didn't exist. That's when I stormed down the hall and pounded on the door myself. Karen, this is breaking and entering. You've got 3 seconds to open this door before I call the police. Her voice wavered for a second, but then she snapped back. I have HOA authority. If you'd followed the rules, I wouldn't have to be here. Emily was furious. She whipped out her phone and started recording, capturing Karen's voice coming from behind the locked door. Within minutes, we had a full recording of Karen admitting she was inside without permission, using a key she wasn't supposed to have, and interfering with our property. I didn't even need to bluff anymore. I dialed the non-emergency police line right in front of the door. When Karen finally came out, she tried to strut past us like nothing had happened, but her face drained when she saw Emily's phone still recording and the red light flashing. She stammered, You can't use that against me. But Karen had no idea just how fast her little bathroom stunt was about to backfire. When the officers arrived, Karen still tried to spin the story. They're violating HOA guidelines. I was inspecting the property. That's all! But the officer cut her off. Ma'am, you were found inside their home, behind a locked door, without their permission. That's trespassing. Karen's smile flickered, but she tried doubling down. I have a master key. The HOA authorizes me to enter when rules are broken. The officer raised an eyebrow. That's not how the law works. Where's your written authorization? Of course, Karen didn't have any. What she had was a cheap duplicate key she'd pressured the previous locksmith into making. And with Emily's recording in hand, there was no way for her to wriggle out of the truth. Still, Karen tried to claw back some dignity. They painted their bathroom tiles a color. Not approved by the HOA. It affects property values. Even the officer had to stifle a laugh. Property values don't give you the right to trap someone in their own house. Emily stepped in, calm but firm. Officer, she's been harassing us for months. This is the first time she's crossed into criminal territory. We want a report filed. And just like that, Karen's tone shifted from arrogant to desperate. She begged us not to press charges. She said she'd drop the issue if we let her off the hook. But Emily and I exchanged a look. We weren't letting this go. The officer took down our statements, photographed the lock, and confirmed Karen's key worked when it shouldn't have. Then he told her plainly, You could be arrested for unlawful entry. The only reason you're not in cuffs tonight is because the homeowners are choosing to file a report instead of pressing immediate charges. Karen's face was beet red. She stormed off, muttering about ungrateful neighbors and power abuse. But this time the power wasn't hers. The next week, our HOA board held an emergency meeting. Emily and I showed the recording, the police report, and the evidence of Karen's key. Board members gasped. Even her closest allies couldn't defend her after hearing her admit she was inside our house, conducting business. By the end of the night, Karen was stripped of her HOA presidency. Her so-called master key was confiscated, the locks were rekeyed, and a stern warning was issued that If she ever set foot on our property again without permission, she'd face criminal charges. And just like that, the woman who thought she owned every bathroom in the neighborhood learned she couldn't even control her own seat on the board. And that's how the whole story unfolded. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear more crazy HOA and neighborhood stories, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below with what you would have done in this situation. Your support really helps me bring you more stories like this one.